Namaskar. Welcome back to another live on Friday evening, 7 p.m. Hope you're doing fantastic. This is Aditya Soma, and today's topic for the live is, how many units additionally you can build on any property, a residential property you have, and what kind of layouts you can build. First of all, what it goes to build those kind of units, how much would it cost, is it worth doing those additional units now? All these questions related to additional building units, like adding extra units on your single family home or a duplex or a semi-detached or a townhome in Windsor, Ontario. So all those topics we will be covering today. Any questions, anything that is related to real estate, just don't hesitate to ask me in the comments below while I'm covering the topic. But again, this is something I've been getting pretty often nowadays because they're again, I covered on this topic a while ago when it was fairly newer in the market. In Windsor, we had this additional dwelling unit concepts came in like 2 3 years ago. Um, but now bringing it up again because recently there was an amendment, there was a change in the existing, the way they allow for adding these additional units. So initially, when it rolled out, only single families, semi-detached or townhomes were qualified to do one unit within the existing structure. They called it attached additional dwelling unit, and they allow one detached. So one has to be attached to the house either on the top or in the basement or on the side, and one has to be completely detached from the house. And that only for residential single family townhome or semi detached homes. But now they have amended, made some changes across, I think, across province. They're allowing to have 3 units. Actually, even now you can do it. If you have a duplex, you can add a third unit. Let's say you have an up and down duplex and your basement is empty, you can add the third unit in the basement. Or even in the back, because you already have 2 units, you can add the third unit in the back. So that actually allows a lot more units as well, because now it opens up, and also it will save some of the cost. For example, if you have a single family home and you converted second floor as an additional unit, now you have a basement. So now instead of completely pouring a new foundation, adding a new house in the back, you can just build a additional unit in the basement. So pretty much like you can turn a 2 unit property or 1 unit property into 3 units. But again, there is certain restrictions. Not every property would qualify. They have certain calculations, and city, especially Windsor city website, they have a pretty good amount of details that covers on what are some of the basic requirements, like how much is the lot coverage, how much square footage you can build on the second unit, how much square footage you can build on the third unit. So those all depends on what's your lot size and how much is your house on the lot, what's the coverage on the lot. So multiple elements like that. So just make sure look into the city, make sure get a good understanding on what city require, and then go for the application. And of course, the biggest question I've been getting nowadays is, is it really worth to do this additional units now in this market? Because that's another important question. So especially you can, like, the construction material cost gone up, and the permit fees, is the time to do those units taking much longer. And plus, now the refinance values are not coming as much as they used to, because the kind of property prices have gone down. So that means if you're investing 50 60,000 or even 100,000, sometimes it can take more, into this existing property. Now your like money is stuck there for a little while, until the market appreciates, until you can refinance and take your money out. But that being said, again, this is where your personal choices come into picture. So if you're someone want to take advantage of the market and leverage your money, maybe using that money to go buy another property would make more sense. But if you're someone, I don't want to have too many mortgages, I don't want to have too many leverage, I want to just increase my cash flow on the existing property, and I do have some extra funds, I don't mind sitting on it for little longer, because definitely you're adding good value to the property by adding this additional unit, especially if it's within the structure. You're not going building a new one, because new build minimum per square footage is like $200 per square feet. So it's going to cost at least 150 200,000 to build a one bedroom or two bedroom units. So rather, if you're doing the basement units or upper units, that would help quite a bit to save the cost. So if you're doing something, saving the cost, then why not? But again, this is where you make the choice, like, what's your goals? Do you want to go this route or that route? But personally, like what I'm doing right now, I kind of put a pause on the existing houses to add those additional units. Like I have one property that I have done two, added one unit already, but I have the garage that is like more than 1,000 square feet. Now I'm not doing it because I have done just 7 8 months ago another one with 3 units. The appraisal didn't came for what I expected, and my money kind of stuck in there. This is in a very good location, but again, because the comparables for a duplex or triplex has gone down, the prices has gone down. So that's why I'm pausing. For me, I would rather have that extra funds, and if there is a good opportunity presence, I would rather leverage, because I'm at a point, right now I'm still acquiring properties, but again, very carefully. I don't want to just acquire where my money will be stuck. So you have to decide that based on your necessity. Another question comes in is like, what's the cost to build this kind of additional units? So like I just mentioned, probably depends on so many elements. Honestly, like the cost, it's hard for someone to give you without knowing exactly what's your existing structure, because usually you're adding this kind of units for older homes, or if it's a newer home, well, what exactly you're going to build, where exactly you're going to build. So many elements depends. And my best advice is like, always get some contractor quotations or builder quotations. That's the best possible way. Like maybe first hire a designer, get a drawings based on what you're thinking. Try to get the drawings such a way that you can have you can bring your cost down. So if you're working with someone who is reputable, who knows, who have done this kind of things, probably they can help you to save the cost as well, because certain designs can cost you more to build, certain designs can be more affordable to build. So work with the right one, probably that will help you to save the cost. So but that being said, what really would cost, right? Like, let me just give some approximate idea what I have seen. So if you're building a completely detached additional unit, I have built recently like 750 square feet. That costed me 180,000 plus HST, which is like approximately 220 per square feet. Um, Two of them around the same price. Like, so detached, you can expect anywhere from 200 to 250 dollars per square feet. So if you're building 1,000 square feet, then probably 220,000 to 250,000. That's for detached. And if you're doing attached, the cool projects, like the lowest economical ones, or if you already have a good size basement with a high ceiling, great entrance, and good size windows, the egress windows, big windows. Usually these are like homes that are like 20 years old, under 20 years old, or under 30 years old. The raised ranches, those kind of homes usually have those elements already. Majority of the elements are there. It's pretty much like, you have to do maybe some fire separation, maybe some insulation, and smoke detector, like fire alarm system, interconnected fire alarm system, and fire escape, probably like the doors, the fire rated doors, um, some basic things like pretty much like to separate, if something happens in one unit, it's not going to spread to the second unit until like certain 2 hours or something. So those are like most economical ones that I have seen. Usually those are like it can range anywhere from 15, 20,000 to 50,000. And also another one that I have seen affordable is like if you have a upper level, some people have already existing kitchens and second floor, um, on the top, and you have like staircase, or maybe you just need to add a second entry or exit, but your floor plan on the top is pretty good, then those are the ones are also affordable to build, to convert that second floor into a unit. You have one entry from the main floor. If you can separate those entries from the main floor unit, and if you had a fire escape, the second, maybe a steel entrance, usually that is little bit more than basement, which basements are the most affordable, especially if you have the height windows and the great entrance. But these are like the second floors, usually maybe another 20, 30 grand more. Again, these are like very hypothetical. I know it's very confusing, and this is why I advise, like especially when you're doing some things like that, just get some contacts in the city. If you're looking to do in Windsor, Ontario, probably reach out to us. DM me on Instagram. I'll give you some contacts. People who have done this ADUs, the contractors. Get some quotation before even like you do anything. Just get a contractor who has done this kind of things, get them to your home, let them see the property, and give you ideas what's the possibility of you adding those units, and how much approximate, like even they will not be able to give like very accurate, but at least they can give a very good approximate number. Then make your decision based on that to proceed or not, because before you start investing any money, having some expert looking at those will help you immensely. So um, let me take some questions, and we'll call it a Friday evening. Hey Ditya, how are you? Hey Tarun, I'm doing fantastic, buddy. Baby girl, yeah, she's good. She's back. Need your suggestion on Prick. When should one open it? You can only open the Prick once you have a license. So Prick is pretty much like the corporation, right? If you're talking about the corporation, if you're making more than your cost of living, it's always good to have a corporation, because you can add additional tax advantages. That you can open as soon as you get your license. It would not take probably like more than a week. If you want, DM, text me. I'll send you my lawyer number who did for me. Hare Krishna, would this approximate construction cost be similar to GTA region as well? Maybe there might be a little difference between the GTA and Windsor, because Windsor, usually the labor cost I heard is little more than the GTA, because maybe you have a more labor available in GTA. Maybe it might be little bit difference, but pretty much like 10% or maybe 15% difference. And also, where you will have a major cost difference, if you're hiring a contractor or you're hiring a sub trades. So if you have some time available and you have some knowledge, maybe you hire each individual trades for individual work. If you have some experience in doing these things, there you will cost like almost 20-30% cost, because contractors put their margin, right? So at least 10% cost you will save there. Like if you're doing 100,000 work, you're saving $10,000 minimum. So that's another like cost saving tip. But yeah, like again, the changes, especially what I'm excited about, like I have some duplexes. Those are the ones, like now I'm going to add the third unit. One, actually I have requested the city a while ago, because I have the basement ready. I created enough height, and I've been bugging them to add the third unit, and they never They said no, zoning bylaw doesn't allow. But now they have to allow me because I have the decent sized lot, and the unit I'm going to build is like less than 40% of the above ground square footage. So yeah, there's things like that. Like now it is helping for investors who don't want to buy an additional one, but still increase their income, doing this kind of attached existing possible units. And there is a lot of non-conforming units in the city where duplex has third unit, and especially if that third unit has decent height, probably you can go through the legal process and get that converted into a legal unit. So now you're turning a duplex into a triplex. So in a long run, definitely it's a great strategy because it's adding good amount of value for your portfolio. But not only that, by spending like 50, 60,000, you're increasing your income by like $1,500, which is like more than 3%. Or even if you have to spend 100,000, you're increasing more than 1%. 1% rule, the income. So yeah. Can you share someone contact who is affordable and can work as per the building permit in Windsor? Tarun, unfortunately for ADUs, um, I haven't came across anyone who is affordable. That's my honest answer. Unless you're doing by yourself, you hire trades. Pretty much like I worked with so far like three contractors. They're all around the same prices. They put like 10-15% their margin, and they charge whatever the trades cost charge. But if you had maybe even just a project manager, and you manage all the trades, or like uh, you just get a clear picture on what's the steps, then maybe you can save. So one guy that I used for most of my projects are like my good friend Savio. But again, he always tells me like, these ADUs are not cheap. At least like if you're have to go through everything, like we did, like we had to increase the height in the basement, and we have to do the windows, egress, we have to do fire separation, everything complete redone in the basement, and plus a detached ADU costed us like more than 400,000. So they're expensive, but in a good location. At the time of we built, it made sense, but now it's not making sense. Now probably you hire someone who have a good experience in the construction work, and you do the paperwork. You get the hire a good designer. Maybe that could help. But there's a couple of them that I worked in the past, like they have good knowledge. What is your take on recent rate hike? I mean, so I was talking to my mortgage guys. They are saying most likely this could be the last one, or last but one for this year, because it looks like the inflation even in states came down to 3%. So hopefully, is it going to create more opportunities for investor? Yes. Is it going to be challenging market for sellers? Yes, because with the interest rate hike, we have seen always direct impact. As soon as the rate hikes, the price drop, the real estate property prices drop. So that means the sellers will have a little hard time to get market values. Probably you'll have you have to take some cut on there. But buyers, they can find some good opportunities. If you're an investor and if you have some good cash in hand, you can go hunt and look for those motivated sellers. You'll get some good opportunity. And if you're a first-time home buyer, don't forget that you're marrying the price, dating the rates. So yes, the rates are high now, but at the same time, that is also reflecting on the prices. So the prices are lower. So instead of waiting for that rates to come down, I would say go buy now, so that you can get a better price. I did a simple calculation, right? Like let's say you bought a property that is like 400,000 home, and your mortgage is 400,000, the property is 500,000. So you're paying extra like $100 for interest rate of 6%, or maybe extra $200, versus your interest rate being 4%. So you're paying extra 200, 250 per month. And if you do the math, let's say for next you fixed for 3 years. So next 3 years, you're paying every month extra $250 into 12, just to for round figure numbers, let's say 2,500. So 2,500 every year extra interest into 5. So which is like 12,500. But you got the property for 400,000. What if the same property worth 500,000 5 years down the road? I'm talking 5 years, right? Now your property has appreciated by 20%. So 20% appreciation in 5 years, very conservative, which we have seen, in Canada, pretty normal. Um, but again, let's just assume that, right? Like, so you took advantage of this market depreciation, because we have, on an average, we have a 20% depreciation in the prices from the peak time. So whenever the market recovered, let's say like 5 years, it took 5 years to recover. So 5 years back to those old prices. So which means 20% appreciation. So 500,000, 20% appreciation, you have 100,000 additional, like 125,000. So 5% of 20% of 500,000, which is what? So probably 100,000, right? Again, I'm doing numbers on my head. So 100,000 is you equity you made, and versus you paid interest of 12,500 extra. Again, I'm just doing a very napkin numbers here. Go do your, there is a lot of calculators like ratemyhub.ca. That's my favorite website, where you can get all the numbers, change the rates from 4% to 6% to 5%, and see what's the difference in your monthly payment. So you will get a good idea, right? So 100,000 is appreciation versus, so if you go buy the property, then the rates came down to 4, but now you're paying extra 100,000. Versus here you paid 12,500, but you made extra money. And versus you saved your rent for all these 5 years, because if you're renting the place, the money is already gone on the drain. And again, I'm not debating that rent versus buy. I know some people's situations, like renting does make a lot of sense. Some people, they should not buy the house if they're not financially in the right position. I'm not talking about that, but in general, if you're like ready to buy, and but you're just debating because of the interest rates, then that's the calculations. You're losing on the opportunity, because the timing is favor for the buyers. When it turns back to the seller's favor, now you will get hard time to find the right property. You will get hard time to choose the type of property you want. You will having hard time to even do the inspections. You will be having hard time to pick and choose the ones that right for your family. So you just need to make decisions sometimes quicker. So these are the times where you can take time, you can analyze everything, you can negotiate everything. So why not take advantage? So that's my message out here. Does Windsor has Cottage Market? Honestly, Tarun, that's very rock and science subject for me. I never really looked into. Probably outskirts of Windsor, there are some like Leamington, uh, the Point Pilly. There are few areas here and there, but honestly, I'm not 100% sure how market is. I don't want to give the answer which I'm not sure about. What do you think about 5% interest rate? Is it worth buying or selling? Joseph, that's a very vague question. What do you think about the 5% interest rate? Is it worth buying or selling? So, first of all, what's your situation? Like, you're talking about buying and you're talking about selling. So, if you're talking about selling, why do you want to sell? Like, this is the time, if you're not financially strong, if you cannot afford the mortgage, if there is another rate hike happens, if you're in a bad position, then probably you have to think of selling. If not, if you're in a good position with finances, if you have enough contingency funds, enough savings, I would not sell. This is not the right time to sell, because this is the time right now, like buyers are crunching every penny out of you, and the demand is less. Like of course, some areas still there is demand, like good locations, South Windsor, LaSalle. In Windsor, some locations still have like affordable homes have a good demand, but majority, especially investment property, they are sitting a little longer. So in that case, I would think based on your situation, because you are the one has to know your finances better. And is it worth buying? Like I said, when the down market, it present opportunities for investors who are financially ready. Like this is where you don't just go buy if you're not financially good. You're just borrowing money from other people. That's not good, because these are the times where you have to have money. If you're having money, if you're financially good and you have good income, or good business that making good money, and you can buy for discounted prices, why not? It's opportunity, because we all know the down market will not stay longer, probably a year, another year, maybe 2 years, or maybe 3 years, but eventually it will go up. And especially if you're buying the cash flowing property, let's say even it's just you found a property, even with this high interest rate, if you're like breaking even, so mm, just breaking even, then you will be fine. Like I just got a pre-construction detached home in Windsor for 750,000 with the basement finishing. So this one going to be like 2 units. Of course, I have to legalize later, but it comes with 2 units. Like so, upper unit, 3 bedroom, 2 bath, basement, 2 bedroom, 1 bath. Um, I can rent the upstairs for like 2,200, 2,100, lower for 16, 1,700. So I did my math, like I can pay pretty much like my mortgage, but it's a pre-construction. It's going to be closing in 1 year from now. So I'm like, okay, I like the location. I like it's brand new, and I like the price where it's like at least at this interest rate, I can pay my mortgage, and I have finances for that extra, once that comes in. But what if the interest rate drops at that time? What if the prices go up at that time? Now I'm making some appreciation. So, but again, I made that call because I have funds. I can sit on it. Like I have enough savings and enough contingency funds for unexpected rainy day. I have like always at least 100 to 200,000 sitting in my stocks or somewhere that I can just literally pull out if I need. um, Again, this is where you have to know yourself. And speaking of which, if you're someone interested in pre-construction, we had just the 5 lots for a detached unfinished basement with great entrance, 1,340 square feet in East Windsor, decent location, close proximity to like all the amenities, and like the Tecumseh and mm, near like Central. Pretty um, clean layout, raised ranch style, perfect one for like a first time home buyer. Like you're looking to buy, you want something new, but you don't have enough funds right now, but you can save up in next 1 year. Then this project is like a very good one. uh, this is the lowest price I have seen for a brand new detached homes in Windsor. So we sold the first phase 5, just like in 2 days they are sold. So now the second phase, the builder, I just met the builder today. It's a local builders, like small mom and pop builders, not like a big brand, but they do a pretty good construction. They have I bought one from them personally just a month ago. Um, so this the second one coming up for 700,000 with unfinished basement. But if you want basement, probably they'll add another 50 or 60,000 on top with the kitchen. So that's something. If it sounds interesting for you, DM me on Instagram. I'll send you more details. Just DM pre-construction detached home. How to get financing on buying land in Windsor for future development. Tarun, if I were you, I would not buy land if you don't have cash to buy, unless you have capacity to hold a land with a loan. Because with these high interest rates, even there are some credit unions and all give you probably loan for like 40, 60%, 40 maybe 50, or even if your finances are strong, like maybe 60, 70%. But most of the lands, they don't make money while you're in the process of development. So I would not buy unless you have cash. Construction loan, yes, there is pretty much a lot of banks will give you based on what's your projections, based on what's your construction cost, based on what will be the value after construction, or if it's an investment property, what's the cap rate. So many elements depends on. Pushkar, I will come to Canada in few months. Please suggest me some ways to get started in real estate as a student. Just go work for some real estate firms. property management, construction renovation companies, real estate agent companies, real estate builder companies, real estate development companies, any real estate related field, go work. Because mm, when you work within the real estate, you will slowly understand the terminologies, you will slowly understand all the nitty gritties. Especially if you're a student, you need some money as well, right? Like, so of course, working for someone, and when you're starting out, obviously you have to take a very low level job, but work your way up, you show your work ethics, you prove. And um, there is demand for good employees, like who are sincere working. And especially if you want to learn, but don't approach them saying, I want to learn from you. Because if you want to learn, why do they have to teach you? If you're not willing to work, if you're just willing to learn, no one will hire you. If you're willing to work and learn, first work. Because if you're not working, if you're not doing things, they're not going to teach you. So, but yeah, welcome to Windsor soon, and to welcome to Canada soon. Yeah, good luck with everything. So, guys, with that, thank you so much for hearing me out, and happy Friday. Have a wonderful weekend. Good night, everyone. If you have any questions, anything, just DM me on Instagram. Nowadays, we're pretty responsive on Instagram. Any questions, just, it's my full name, Aditya Kumar Soma. Good night, guys.